Are you waking up feeling slow, stiff, or like your body just isn't responding the way it used to, especially down there? Many men over 60 tell me they start their morning already feeling behind, low energy, sluggish circulation, and a quiet frustration they rarely talk about. I'm Dr. Barbara O'Neill, a board-certified urologist. I've spent over 20 years helping men reclaim strength, confidence, and healthy function. And there's one overlooked morning food that can help, because what it does inside your blood vessels might surprise you. If you find this helpful, join our community by subscribing, so you never miss videos designed for men like you. But here's what most people don't realize. Circulation doesn't just drop one day. It fades slowly, quietly, year after year, so subtly that most men don't even notice what's happening until they wake up one morning and think, something feels different, something feels weaker. And I want you to hear this from me as a physician who has spent decades listening to men just like you. It's not your fault. After 60, your hormones shift, your arteries stiffen, and the tiny vessels that once opened effortlessly now respond a little slower, a little more reluctantly. When testosterone naturally declines, it doesn't just affect mood or energy. Testosterone interacts with the very lining of your blood vessels, what we call the endothelium, helping it relax, expand, and deliver strong, healthy blood flow everywhere you need it. When that hormone dips, the endothelium becomes less responsive. Think of it like a rubber band that's been stretched too many times. It just doesn't snap back the way it used to. And then there's nitric oxide, the chemical signal your body produces to open those vessels. When you were younger, your nitric oxide levels were high. Every morning, your body would flood your system with this compound, helping you wake up energized, alert, and ready. But after 60, nitric oxide production can drop by more than half. And without it, even the healthiest arteries feel sluggish, especially in the areas that rely on strong blood flow for firmness, performance, and confidence. This is why mornings become a turning point. Overnight, blood flow slows down, your vessels tighten, and the moment you wake up, your body has to fight to restore circulation. If that morning recovery doesn't happen well, the rest of your day feels heavier, slower, and less responsive. But here's the encouraging part. Once you understand what's happening inside your arteries, the solution becomes surprisingly simple, and it starts the moment you open your eyes. Because what you give your body in those first few hours can completely change how your vessels behave for the rest of the day. And that's where things start to get interesting, because the right morning food can help your circulation rebound in ways most men never expect. But now, here's the mistake most seniors make, and it happens within the first 20 minutes of waking up. I see this every single day in my clinic, and most men have absolutely no idea it's sabotaging their circulation for the rest of the morning. It starts with that familiar routine. You wake up, you feel a little stiff, maybe a little tired, so you reach for coffee before anything else. And while coffee isn't the enemy, drinking it on an empty stomach, especially when you're already dehydrated from the night, constricts your blood vessels like a tightened valve. It gives you a temporary burst of alertness, but quietly narrows circulation where you need it most. Then comes the second mistake, a carb-heavy breakfast. Toast, cereal, bagels, pastries, all the classics. They spike your insulin fast, and when insulin surges, it signals your blood vessels to stiffen and pull inward. It's the exact opposite of what you want if you're trying to get healthy blood flow to your muscles, your brain, and yes, your pelvic region. Many men don't feel this happening, but they feel the effects: low energy, sluggishness, weaker responsiveness. And the third mistake is perhaps the most damaging: skipping breakfast altogether. A lot of men do this thinking they're saving calories or not hungry yet, but your body interprets that gap as stress. And stress hormones like cortisol tighten blood vessels instantly. It's like starting your day with your foot on the brake. The truth is, just one of these choices can keep your circulation restricted for hours. But here's the encouraging part. Change one thing in your morning, and you can flip the entire system from constricted to open, from sluggish to responsive. And that shift can start as soon as tomorrow. But fixing the mistake isn't enough, because the right morning food doesn't just avoid the problem, it actively does something your medications can't. And that's where things get really exciting. But here's what most men never hear. The body isn't just waiting for medication or supplements to improve circulation. It's waiting for the right fuel. And there's one morning food, simple, natural, and backed by decades of vascular research, that works almost like lubrication for aging arteries. I've recommended it to thousands of men over the years, and I've watched their energy, responsiveness, and confidence shift in ways they didn't think were possible after 60. I'm talking about nitrate-rich foods, and especially beets or beet powder taken first thing in the morning. Now stay with me here, because what happens inside your body is remarkable. Beets are packed with natural nitrates. When you eat them, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, the very compound your blood vessels rely on to open, relax, and allow strong, steady blood flow. It's the same pathway targeted by prescription medications, but this is your body doing it naturally, gently, and consistently. When nitric oxide rises, the smooth muscle around your arteries softens. Imagine the difference between a stiff garden hose and one that's flexible and responsive. That's what nitric oxide does for your circulation. And because the pelvic region relies on very tiny, very delicate vessels, anything that improves nitric oxide hits that area especially powerfully. Men often tell me they feel warmer, more energized, more awake down there, sometimes within just minutes of taking it in the morning. The magic is in the timing. Taking it on an empty stomach within the first hour of waking allows your body to absorb and convert those nitrates more efficiently, and pairing it with vitamin C or a small amount of healthy fat, like a few nuts or a tablespoon of avocado, helps protect those nitrates and extend their effect throughout the morning. Start with half a cup of beet juice or a teaspoon of beet powder in water and gradually increase as your body adapts. But there's one more thing you need to know. Boosting circulation isn't only about adding the right food. It's also about avoiding the foods that shut this process down instantly. And most men have no idea they're making that mistake every single morning. But here's where most men go wrong. They add the right morning food, but then unknowingly mix it with something that shuts the whole process down. And this happens fast, sometimes within minutes. Your arteries can go from open and responsive to stiff and constricted before you've even finished breakfast. That's how sensitive nitric oxide is, especially in men over 60. One of the biggest offenders is processed breakfast meats, things like bacon, sausage, and ham. Now, these foods aren't bad in moderation, and many men enjoy them without issues at lunch or dinner. But in the morning, when your vessels are still waking up, the high sodium and preservatives trigger an immediate tightening effect. They actually interfere with nitric oxide signaling, almost like flipping the switch in the opposite direction. You work hard to open those vessels, and suddenly they're closing again. The second culprit is heavy, sugary foods, pastries, pancakes drenched in syrup, sweetened cereals. These spike your blood sugar so quickly that your insulin shoots upward, and insulin is a direct antagonist to morning circulation. When insulin rises too fast, the arteries lose flexibility. It's like trying to run water through a pipe that's suddenly narrowed. The flow slows, pressure drops, and that sluggish feeling takes over your whole system. And then there's dairy, which surprises many men. For some, especially after 60, dairy can trigger low-level inflammation that stiffens blood vessels temporarily. A glass of milk or a big cheesy omelette might feel comforting, but it can quietly undo the benefits of your nitric oxide boosting foods. Interestingly, these same foods often cause far fewer issues later in the day once your metabolism is fully active and your vessels are more responsive. That's why I tell my patients, timing matters as much as the food itself. To get the best results, you want your morning to be a window of circulation support, not circulation sabotage. Keep the heavy foods for later, when your body is better prepared to handle them. Let your mornings stay clean, anti-inflammatory, and blood flow friendly. But here's the part most men never hear. Circulation isn't just physical, it's deeply tied to your confidence, your energy, your drive, and your long-term longevity. And understanding that connection changes everything about how you approach your health moving forward. But before we go any further, I want to speak to you directly. Not as a YouTube doctor, not as an expert on men's health, but as someone who has spent decades sitting across from men who feel exactly what you're feeling right now. You are not broken, you are not past your prime, and you are certainly not alone. What you're experiencing is a completely normal part of aging, but it is absolutely, undeniably reversible. Your blood vessels still respond, your muscles still respond, your hormones still respond. Your body hasn't forgotten how to heal. It just needs the right signals again. So many men over 60 carry a quiet fear, a fear they rarely say out loud, that the decline they're feeling is permanent, that the spark they used to have isn't coming back, that the changes down there are something they just have to accept. I want you to hear me clearly. That is not true. I've worked with men in their 60s, 70s, even late 80s who rebuilt stronger circulation than they had in their 40s. I've seen energy return, confidence return, intimacy return, not because they did anything extreme, but because they made small daily choices that signaled their body to wake back up. You don't need perfect genetics. You don't need expensive treatments. You just need consistency, patience, and the understanding that your future isn't defined by how you feel today. Your body is capable of more repair than you've been led to believe. You can restore strength, you can rebuild energy, you can reclaim the parts of yourself that felt like they were slipping away. And it all starts with knowing your body and giving it the respect, care, and attention it has earned over a lifetime. If you found this valuable, join our community and subscribe so you never miss future guidance designed for men like you. Every week, I'm here sharing real, practical, science-backed strategies to help you improve circulation, boost energy, sleep deeper, support testosterone, and feel more alive in your own body. You deserve that. You deserve confidence. You deserve vitality. You deserve strong, steady blood flow and the kind of restorative sleep that helps you wake up feeling like yourself again. Take care of your health because you are worth every bit of the effort you invest. And remember that question I opened with, the surprising way one simple morning food can support your arteries and reawaken blood flow. Now you understand why it works and how every single morning gives you a chance to rebuild your circulation from the inside out. Take what you learned today and apply it. Your body will thank you, and so will your future self.